Back again with another book haul. So I'm going to divide this up into two videos. I will do the books that I ordered from Amazon first, and then in another video I'll do my small book outlet order that I received. I really wrestled with whether or not I should be ordering books with everything that's going on. You hate to think of people in warehouses putting these orders together and possibly exposing themselves and then in turn their families to COVID-19, but at the same time, people need paychecks. People still have to pay their bills. So I don't know. I'm just hoping that everybody that employers are being responsible and providing their employees with safety measures and taking precautions to minimize their risk. I just hope that's going on. So I wrestled with that question, whether or not I should be ordering books, and I compromised. I have ordered books this month, but I've just made minimal orders. I have not been ordering books individually like I might do on the spur of the moment. I've been kind of saving them up and ordering them all at once, and also I've reduced the amount of books that I've been buying. So I just don't know what the right thing to do is. So anyways, the first book that I'm going to show you is The Last Days of Jack Sparks by Jason Arnott. I have already read this book, and I did do a review of it. It is not a very good review, so I'm apologize for that, but I did do a review, so I'm going to link that up here for you. This book was really good. I really liked it. I gave this 4 stars on Goodreads, and it's about this journalist who has died under mysterious circumstances, and he was in the middle of writing a book, and his brother published the book posthumously, and nobody knew the details of how Jack Sparks died, and we find out in this book what happened and the journey that he went through while he was writing that book, and it was really, really good, and I felt that it was really unique. At least it was unique to me, and so yeah, I would really recommend reading this book if you like horror. I really, really enjoyed it. The next book I'm going to tell you about is The Test by Sylvain Neuvel. This book I've also already read, but I didn't do an individual review of it. I thought it was amazing. It was about, let's see, where was he from? Iran or some Middle Eastern country, and he wants to become a citizen of Great Britain, and it's set a little bit in the future, and so he has to take this citizenship test, and if he passes the test, then he and his family can become citizens. And this book I went into this book expecting a certain set of circumstances, and it turned out to be nothing like that at all. It really surprised me in a very good way, and I thought this book was amazing. It was a 5-star read for me. I think I might have actually talked about that book in another video. I feel like I've talked about that before. I may have. Sorry if that's a duplicate. A lot of these books I got, or I should say some of these books I got before the, stay-at-home order. Okay, then the next book I'll show you is The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Haro. This is a young adult fantasy novel. This girl lives with, I believe it's her uncle, and she finds all these doorways to other worlds. And I thought that sounded very, very interesting. And like I've said before, I don't really care for YA very much. I rarely ever find a YA novel that I do enjoy, but I do keep trying them. And I did try this one. I thought maybe I would like it, and it turned out I didn't. I didn't care for the writing style. I think a lot of people did like this book. It seems like it's probably a good story, but I couldn't get along with the writer's style, so I had to DNF it. Hi, Ninja Kitty. Ninja came over to say hi. The next book I ordered was Christine by Stephen King. I have wanted to read this book for a long time, actually. I saw bits and pieces of the movie. I never got to see the complete movie, and I always thought the movie just looked so good, and so I really, really wanted to read this book, so I'm really, really excited to read this. And I think everybody knows what this is about. It's about a possessed car. Only Stephen King. The next book that I ordered, I absolutely love this edition. This is so beautiful. It's Tess of the D'Urbervilles by Thomas Hardy. It's a classic. And I loved these little editions. Look at this little tiny hardback. Look how tiny this thing is. I just thought it was so cute. It's got the little ribbon, a bookmarker, which I'm not going to take out because it's hard to get back in. And I absolutely loved it. It has the little gold edges and the little pretty paper on the inside. I just thought this was beautiful, and I didn't realize it when I ordered this, but there's actually a line of these books in classics in these editions, and I'm going to order some more of these. I really, really like it. These little tiny hard paperbacks, I think, are my favorite format. The next book I ordered was Ghost Ship, is a Star Trek The Next Generation book, Ghost Ship. And I'll tell you, Star Trek The Next Generation is my favorite TV show of all time. I really did not watch very much TV growing up. Well, really ever in my whole life. I'm just not a TV watcher. But when I was a kid, I really liked Star Trek, and I watched Star Trek The Next Generation growing up, and it literally helped shape the way that I see the world, and it helped shape my morals, actually. It was a really, really important show to me, and it's still, to this day, I still just watch episodes of that. When I'm in the mood to watch something, I'll just go to Netflix and I'll throw up Star Trek The Next Generation and rewatch an episode or two. So yeah, I actually had never thought of reading a Star Trek The Next Generation novel or any kind of novel based on a TV series. That really had never held any appeal to me, but I saw the guy on Pints and Paperbacks talking about some Star Trek books that he had purchased, and I thought, wow, you know what? I would love to have some new Star Trek The Next Generation episodes, and so I jotted down the books that he had, and then I looked for the publication order of this series, and so this is book 1, and if I like it, I'm going to pick up more of these books. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. The next book I'm going to talk about is The Possession by Michael Rutger. Now, this is book 2 in the Anomaly Files. The first one is called The Anomaly, and I loved that book. That book was so much fun to read. I thought it was wonderful. I just absolutely loved it. And so I went ahead and picked up the sequel. I don't think it's been out for too long. I think it was published this year, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I actually don't even know what it's about because I was just so excited to read the next book in the series. So I'm going to read the synopsis with you. It'll be my first time too. Let's see. Sometimes the walls we build end up closing us in, and the things we covet end up coveting us. Nolan Moore, host of The Anomaly Files, has made it his life's work to pull the veil back on America's most tantalizing myths and legends, entertaining and informing an audience of skeptics in the process. His motto, in the search for truth, it matters not what we find, it matters only what we continue to seek. The search for truth takes Nolan and his team to the small, off-the-beaten-path town of Birch Lake, California, where in the woods outside town, a series of low spiraling walls have mystified residents ever since the town was first settled. No one knows who built the walls or why. Complicating matters, Nolan's ex-wife, with whom he has recently reforged ties, just happens to be in town investigating a recent disappearance of a high school student, Elena Hickson. Nolan could have chosen any subject in the world for his next show. That he has chosen one in the same town as the woman he's trying to win back? That's one mystery which Nolan's crew knows. That's one mystery to which Nolan's crew knows the solution. Oh, okay, I guess I was right originally. So anyway, yeah, that was actually a disappointing synopsis. I was expecting to know what kind of anomaly file this is going to be. And now I don't know anything except for a spiral staircase. Well, that was not a good synopsis. I hope it's not a whole book about his relationship with his ex-wife, because that wasn't really in the first book, and the first book was excellent. So let's see, the next books that I received, again, it's a novelization of a TV series. I absolutely loved Firefly. It was so good. It was canceled before they even finished season 1, even though it had this really devoted, large following. It was an excellent sci-fi series. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend you hunt down the season, the one season of Firefly that exists, and then watch the movie, which is called Serenity. They made a movie for the fans to sort of tie things up for us, and it did tie things up for us, and it was an awesome ending, I might add. However, I would have really liked to know about all of the things that happened between the last episode of season 1 and the movie, because so much happened that we didn't get to see, and it was just heartbreaking for me to not have been able for that to have been a series for me to watch. So I found out that they just started publishing books for the series. My understanding is that it is all of the things that happened between the TV show and the movie. And this is book 1. It's called The Magnificent Nine. Actually, I think I've got that backwards. I believe this is the first one, Big Damn Hero. And then the second one is The Magnificent Nine. pretty sure that that's the way it goes. If I'm wrong, I'll make sure I put some text on the screen for you to correct that. But yeah, oh, I forgot to tell you, the author is James Lovegrove. I'm not familiar with him as an author. I hope he's a good one. But the consulting editor was Joss Whedon, so I'm sure it's going to be based on his lore for that world. So I'm really hoping those books are good because I'm very excited to read them. The next two books that I got actually came in my Box Wallace subscription. That's a subscription box that are sort of, underrated books, books that people don't really talk about. They're not buzz books, and they come from all over the world. And Box Wallace will send you two of them every other month with one little extra thing. Like one month I got bookmarks. This month I got stickers. One month I got like a little tiny notebook, things like that. So the first book that they have in here is called The Rings of Saturn by W.G. Sebald. And I, of course, instantly thought it was going to be science fiction. I was like, oh, science fiction? I'm so excited, but it's not science fiction at all. Apparently, it is just this man who is taking a walk or wandering around and writing down his thoughts. So it does actually sound very much like a Brandy read. I love those kinds of books. So I'm sure that I will enjoy this. I've kind of flipped through it. I thought there's pictures in there, and some handwritten pages too, copies of handwritten pages if I can find one. Or maybe there was only one. Anyways, there's maps. There's a map in here. There's a lot of different little things in here. And I do enjoy books that include those pictures and images and things like that. It somehow makes it feel more personal, especially when it's this kind of writing. So this is something I'll be picking up soon, I'm sure. I forgot to tell you who the translator was. This author is German. Oh, the translator's not on the outside of the book. Oh, I hate it when they do that. I want to know who translated it. Translated by Michael Hulse, H-U-L-C, Hulse maybe? Yeah, never heard of him. The next book I received in that subscription box is called Cockroaches, and I'm not sure about the pronunciation of the author's name, so I'm taking a stab at that. It appears to be Scholastic Mukasanga. You can tell me how close I am. Okay, so this is about a woman who grew up in Rwanda, and there was a lot of turmoil over there, and I'll just read you a little bit of this. A compelling and moving chronicle of the author's childhood in the years leading up to the genocide of 1994. In deft, spare language, Mukasanga recounts dramatic scenes of displacement and slaughter. Let's see. I think this will be a compelling book. I've actually never read anything about all of the disruption that happened on the African continent. I've never really looked into it very much. So this will be sort of my first look into that sort of thing. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I don't know when I'll pick this up, but I am interested in picking it up. The next book I saw on books, let's see, Jane Catherine on Books. And again, I'll have her channel linked down there. It's called The Wicked Cometh by Laura Carlin. And this book sounds so good, and it's beautiful. Look at the cover. And look at the end pages. Pretty, right? Map of London. I absolutely love that. I think it's so pretty. It just lends so much character to this book. Anyways, I'll read you the synopsis. The year is 1831. Down the murky alleyways of London, acts of unspeakable wickedness are taking place, and no one is willing to speak out on behalf of the city's vulnerable poor as they disappear from the streets. Out of these shadows comes Hester White, a bright young woman who is desperate to escape the slums by any means possible. When Hester is thrust into the world of the aristocratic Brock family, she leaps at the chance to improve her station in life under the tutelage of the fiercely intelligent and mysterious Rebecca Brock. But whispers from her past slowly begin to poison her new life, and both she and Rebecca are lured into the most sinister of investigations. Hester and Rebecca find themselves crossing every boundary they've ever known in pursuit of truth, redemption, and passion. I wonder if there's a love interest there. But their trust in each other will be tested as a web of deceit begins to unspool, dragging them into the blackest heart of a city where something more depraved than either of them could ever imagine is lurking. Doesn't that sound exciting? I'm kind of excited to read this. I'm going to try to get to this soon. The next book that I got was, I've been looking for this book for a while. I saw this on the Shades of Orange, and I've been looking for it ever since, and I finally found a reasonably priced copy, and it's in perfect condition. Look at this thing. I don't know that this has ever been read. It's amazing. There's no creases, there's no nothing, there's no marks. It's like brand new, but it was listed as a used copy, and it is Snow by Ronald Malfi. When a brutal snowstorm shut down all of the flights in and out of Chicago, Todd Curry and a few other stranded passengers rented a Jeep to drive the rest of the way to their destinations. But along the forested, isolated road, they picked up a disoriented man wandering through the snow. His car wouldn't start, and his daughter had vanished. Strangest of all were the mysterious slashes cut into the back of the man's coat, straight down to his flesh. I wonder if it's a werewolf story. The next book I also saw in Shades of Orange. It is All Smoke Rises by Mark Matthews. This is actually a sequel to a book called Milk Blood. But I think I might read this first because of the description. I think that this book will be better if I actually don't know what has happened in book 1. I'm just going to read you the synopsis here. 10-year-old Lily is the victim of a terrible house fire and a wretched family. Her father is an addict with mental illness, her mother was murdered and then buried across the street, and her uncle got her addicted to heroin. Lily's tragic story has been told in the book All Smoke Rises, and it may be true, for the author has broken into your house and placed Lily's body on your kitchen counter. He demands you read the manuscript before cutting his own wrists and bleeding out on your floor. Now you have decisions to make, for her body may not be dead, and her family is coming for her. Right? Doesn't that sound exciting? Yeah. I'm definitely going to read this soon. I just have to. It sounds too great. Okay, and then the last thing I'll show you today is the EverQuest 2 Atlas. Okay, so EverQuest 2 is an MMORPG. If you're not familiar with that, they are online games where people either all over the country, or in EverQuest's case, people from many different countries play online together. So, and it's a role-playing game, massive multi-online role-playing game. And it's an old one. It came out in 2004. It came out like a month before WoW. Which is World of Warcraft Online. And if you are a nerd like me, a game nerd like me, you will probably know that. If you are not, well, I've just educated you. But I still have my account and everything with EverQuest 2, and I do still log in once in a while, especially if there's like a special event happening. And I play, but rarely ever. I play 3 times a year, maybe, 2 to 4 times a year. So I hardly ever play, but I still love the game. It still has a special place in my heart because I did play it heavily for several years. And I do collect all of the EverQuest 2 stuff. Like I have the EverQuest 2 Prima. They thought they were going to like publish a magazine, and they only ever published 2 issues, and then that quit. I have all the collection boxes and all of the things that came inside the collection boxes. And so one of these days I'm going to put up a little shelved area in one of my rooms just for my EverQuest stuff, just because EverQuest 2 has a place in my heart. So anyways, I didn't have this, and now my collection is complete. I have everything, and I got it used online, and it's in excellent condition, and I was very, very pleased to find this. Okay, so that's all of the books today, and I'll turn this video off and I will start another one. So you'll see this the next one in a couple of days. That will contain my my book outlet books, and it's just a small haul, so that will be a quick video.